This is Scott, the Sequoia woodworker. I installed an Oneida V-System 5000 series a few months back, and I just wanted to tell you a little bit about it. It has a 5 horsepower, 220, single phase, has an 8-inch port coming out, has the HEPA filter, 35-gallon drum, and it works fantastic. When I bought this system, I also bought the Nordfab ductwork to go with it, the quick fit ductwork. And so here I'm coming out of the system with a flex hose, and then it goes directly right into the Nordfab. That's a 90-degree elbow. You want to minimize your 90s because that restricts a lot of your air. But I had to get it up to the ceiling, so I had to elbow them up. I supported everything off the ceiling with the plumbing, the metal tape, the plumber's tape. You know, it has all the holes in it. Here you can see it going into my supermax 37-inch. And that machine just really kicks up a lot of dust. It's a dual drum, and if you don't have a good suction on that machine, you're going to get a shop full of dust. Here you can see where I have gates on every machine. So I can run 2 gates at one time. So I open up, you know, for 2 machines. I usually have my panel saw, my Striebig, open all the time, and then whatever else I'm using. So if it's my table saw, my sander, whatever it is, you know, but I can close any of the gates and run them, you know, however I want to there. This is my Kreg pocket hole machine. It has a 3-inch port, so I wired it off from the 4-inch. I think maybe I was even coming out of a 5-inch right there, but I wired it off and came down with a 3-inch. And then I also did there you can see my 3-inch flex going into it. And then it has a 3-inch gate also. And here I did a dust floor sweep, so it has its own gate also. And hanging off the sweep there, you can see my remote control. That's how I control the dust collector. So from anywhere in the shop, I can turn it on and off. I usually, you know, when I start working, I clip that onto my belt, and that way, right before I start a machine up, I turn on my dust collector first. You know, there I have it hooked up to my router with a 4-inch dust hose coming out of it. Works pretty well if you're using the fence. If you're not using the fence, then it blows some shavings around the shop a little bit. This Striebig, it's a lifesaver for cutting 4x8 sheets. You can see there I've got a bunch of doors sitting on it right now, but I just sprayed those this morning, so I was just letting them dry. But for cutting 4x8 sheets, handling them by yourself is just a nightmare. So this Striebig just takes all the effort right out of it. It was a 3-phase system, so I had to run a phase converter. I went with Phoenix phase converter, and there you can see the 4-inch port coming down onto the Striebig with a flex hose. So when you're running that saw back and forth, it has, I believe it's like a 10-12 foot flex that has to go across. There's the converter, the 3-phase. And here's the 4-inch port coming down from my table saw. And then it wires off also to my planer. And then you can see it there wiring off all the way back. That's the furthest one away, and that goes back to to my jointer. I got a Powermatic jointer back there, a 6-inch. And here you can see my saw stop. You can see the duct on the right hand side as it's hard ducked in, and then right at the end it's flex duct. But I'm not quite done with my table yet. It's going to extend to the left a little bit and extend to the right. But that Nordfab pipe is the best. If I had to do it again, you know, it's not cheap, but it goes together so easy. It's cut to fit, and it just really works well. There's the gate for that machine. Now this is a Oneida system also. This is separate than my V system. This is just strictly for my miter saw. So it's a dust deputy from Oneida. You run it into a bucket. They sell a bucket. I didn't buy their bucket, but so I have it hooked up to a Fiend vacuum. Fiend, I'm not sure how you say it. But as soon as you turn the saw on, it turns the vacuum on. All 90-something% of the dust goes into the bucket. Very little goes into your vacuum. It really works well. I'm going to build some cabinets above that and put all that stuff up in a cabinet so you don't see it. But this is just something that I just finished up, a Jorgensen vise, and had it for years. It was kind of junky looking, rusted, and so I cleaned it all up and built a nice table bed for it and mounted it to my table saw extension, my L-feed table. You can see there's my saw stop on the other side. So that's basically the tour of my shop. You've seen it all. It's we've got an old vise and cabinet. It came out of an old school, you know, probably from the 40s or 50s, I'd imagine. I like antiques. I'm sure that bench has seen a lot of different things made on it. And so, anyway, just wanted to talk about that V system. I'm real happy with it. The Nordfab works excellent. And so anyway, that's the Oneida V system 5000 series. Thanks for watching.